Bang! What's up, everybody? Week 5. We're back. Let's break this bad boy down. So, yeah, we'll just hop right into it. We got Ty versus Graham. Yep, unfortunate turn 1. So, dual wing beat isn't super common on Scissor, so that's not something that, you know, you really would be expecting. But, yeah, Volcanion and Toxapex are just like really solid pivots out of Heracross for Graham that he probably could have just went into. It's a mid-ground play, get to see what Scissor does. Even if Scissor SDs, both of them live knockoff afterwards. Scissor doesn't want to stay in and get burnt. Like, yeah, you have a lot of options if you go into one of your water types here. But yeah, really losing Heracross right off rip. Now he doesn't have like a really solid way to break through Glowking or Mew. And yeah, I mean, we'll just let this play out from here. Yeah, Volcanion's strong, man. Like, and once again, I mean, it was good getting the burn there with Scorching Sands, but I think Earth Power is just better on Volcanion overall. Spadef drops, just higher base power. Yeah, if you don't get that 30% Scorching Sands burn, then you're kind of screwed. Now, this is something Graham's been doing every week. That I'm pretty sure is the same Gliscor set that he's ran every week so far. I don't know. I'd like to see him mix it up a little bit and put some bulk in there, because Hidden Power Ice from a non-boosted Rotom fan. I'm pretty sure this wasn't like Specs or something, or Expert Belt or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was just boots, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it just lives if you have like max HP. But yeah, he was running max attack, max speed, which, I mean, I guess it's good to pressure Mew to have to run speed to kill you, but I don't know. If I'm Mew this week, I'm probably running enough speed anyway to outspeed you and kill you with Ice Beam, so could have ran some bulk there, live this HP Ice, kill the Rotom on the next turn or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's two absolute demons dead on Graham's team now. And yeah, it's just a tough situation here. Sipping on that hazelnut. Yeah, I mean, 34% is still a ton from a knockoff off that Scissor, but I'm sure it was pretty offensive, especially doing like 80% to Heracross off of the first hit of dual wing beat. I'm seeing Spiritomb again this week. Really sick, man. Really sick. Man, this game was so long ago. I'm like hardly remembering how this ended up finishing. Yeah, that was HP Grass plus Sucker Punch. Almost got it. Man, that was close. Yeah, and then Physical Blastoise just kind of EQs its way home here. That's tough. Like, I don't really know. Like, it was really like getting rid of the offensive pressure. Like, having like Heracross around still to live something from Blastoise obviously is extremely important, or keeping like Gliscor and Heracross around to prevent Blastoise from being able to come in and set up is really the only way to play around that this week. I mean, I guess your only other option would have been like a Scarfed Raichu, but I feel like Blastoise was running enough speed at +2 speed to be faster than it. I can't really remember. Yeah, this is like one of those games where it's just like you're screwed off matchup. I mean, yeah, it didn't help that Heracross went down on turn 1, but I don't know. I don't know how much Heracross is really breaking Scissor anyway, other than that. But yeah, you know what? Moral of the story is just play to your middle grounds, because then you at least give yourself a shot to win. You know, falling behind early like that, it is so tough to claw back into the game. But yeah, we'll go on to the next game. So we got Tom versus Joe. This is something I was talking to both of them after the game. When you guys are playing, really just take a note of what's happening on each turn. Like, be mindful. If you've discovered something has an item, take a note of that. The built-in calc, that little extension that I put in the Discord, it will remember items. So if you identify an item on something, you can just save it on that, and every time you click on that mod, it's going to remember that it's that item. So yeah, you knock off the assault vest on Coco here, so you know it's 4 attacks. Yeah, okay, so now this game's coming back to me. Joe is conditioning Tommy to keep going into Tornadus on Buzzwole. Honestly, I don't think he had to even do it on that one. I'm pretty sure Ice Punch would kill it on the next one. If he went for the Ice Punch there, it probably would have killed. But yeah, Joe's just trying to bait Tornadus in over and over again. So this play, yeah, okay. There were a couple things. Looking at Tommy's team, Buzzwole into him is ridiculous, right? Like, it's super effective against his bottom 3. Tornadus is realistically his only check to it. If he has Leech Life, I mean, even Ice Punch is going to hit like a truck on Rotom, and he can only Volt Switch into it. You know, Zygarde's going to die to an Ice Punch. Buzzwole just absolutely cooks Tommy's team, right? So it's really problematic now that Tornadus is down at 48%. And Mamoswine here, in prep, the first thing I was telling Tommy is, like, when you have Mamoswine out, like, the first time you bring it out, you should just go for the freeze dry, because it's going to hit Buzzwole harder than a knockoff or an Icicle Crash or whatever, and it's also going to catch a Blastoise on the switch in. And so he went for the knockoff the first time, took Rocky Helmet damage, so now he's, you know, he's kind of down bad for that. And now we see the switch here to Buzzwole again. Well, that Icicle Crash only did 23%. I don't know the calc on freeze dry. Probably would have done a good chunk more, but since he's locked into that, he has to switch here. And Joe, I guess here's the conditioning. Joe going only for Drain Punch into a Mamoswine makes sense, so go into your flying type instead of like Aggron or Miltank or whatever, and bang, Ice Punch, Torn's dead. Yeah, so not ideal. Now, Tom went into Zygarde right away, and I thought this was game, because okay, this happened to, we'll talk about it in my game as well. And I also didn't make the right play at that point. However, the thing I had on the field has done its job, right? So I didn't need it like to stay alive anymore. So I was able to just click a button and be like, okay, well, this prevents you from setting up. If I go down, I go down. With this, however, like, Buzzwole absolutely destroys Tommy still. And if he's bringing in something that you built your Buzzwole to specifically check, and you're at +1 defense, that should just be like screaming red flags, right? Like, that should just be like, something is off here. Like, what? And just go into a middle ground and scout. Guzzlord, you don't really need, like, I mean, you know, it's a tier 5, like, let it be a tier 5, put it in and sack it. Lycanroc, now that Tornadus is gone, Lycanroc is kind of crappy. Just, you go in, sack it, and guess what? This is HP Flying Zygarde. You go into Lycanroc, now he's stuck into HP Flying, and you actually get to do something with it. But, yeah, Joe miscalced. He calced that off of, like, Adamant Nature instead of a Naughty Nature, which doesn't lower your special attack. And so he thought he had a chance to live. But still, like, there was no reason to risk it, because Buzzwole is your win con at this point. And now that it's gone, Tommy's going to have kind of a decent time navigating through this endgame. The hard Mamo, absolutely outrageous. Oh yeah, and Tommy says in chat, oh snap, misread him on, whoops. Yeah, no, that was just like that was just so unnecessary. Going Mammoth, like, Ditto's almost always going to be choice scarfed. Now this is choice banded Zygarde, and so it's going to copy your stats, but it doesn't copy the choice band, right? So that 1,000 arrows into like a Miltank was not going to do a lot. 1,000 arrows into Rotom, not going to do a lot. Your Zygarde said it's 1,000 arrows, hidden power, extreme speed, yada yada. Rotom's fine. Miltank's totally fine. Plus, his hidden power type is probably Ice. I didn't actually see if he changed it in the team paste, or even if I can see that. But that's another thing. Like, Joe's running a Ditto. He needs to remember, okay, if I get a hidden power this week, what hidden power do I want? So it's not like he was using like hidden power flying. It was either dark or ice. Either he changed it to ice or he kept it dark. Really the two options. But yeah, hard Mammo, not the play. And Blastoise finally comes in on an Icicle Crash. So, like, and that play didn't make any sense to me either. Off of Tommy, like, you just went into your Scarfed Mammo on a Scarf Zygarde, essentially, right? So you're slower. And then instead of going for Ice Shard because you're slower, you actually went for the attack, Icicle Crash. Meanwhile, you could have just went for Freeze Dry if you were going to attack and be slower, because that covers more options, right? So yeah, Icicle Crash just didn't make any sense there. Now, Joe going for the Rapid Spin, I understand a little bit. You know, Mammo's not, you're not really scared of Mammo or anything, but I don't know, I feel like you could have probably just claimed a kill had you gone for a Water Pulse into an Ice Beam. Or maybe two Ice Beams in a row right there. You know, Ice Beam into Water Pulse on like a Miltank switch. I don't know. Because yeah, you just took a little chip on Blastoise switching into Mammo and then just got out of there for 4% on Rotom. Now he lets Ditto go down here. I don't know why he's keeping Lycanroc and Guzzlord around. Like, you could have saved your Ditto there. Lycanroc is not doing anything to Tommy for like the rest of the game. You know, it's just not, it's not that valuable. Ditto, on the other hand, being able to copy him in case he like Dragon Dances or sets up with like Aggron or something, like, yeah. Okay, so actually doing the Rapid Spin to get rid of the rocks that time. And then finally see the Freeze Dry out of Mamoswine there. I think Icicle Crash did more, but like at that point, you know, that's still the right play because you kill 1,000 arrows afterwards. So Lycanroc comes in. Now I don't know. So I don't think Lycanroc has Ice Fang or anything. I was expecting a close combat out of Lycanroc. If I'm in Tommy's position, I knew the pace. I was watching the game. Joe sent it to me. I knew what was happening. But if I'm Tommy, I'm expecting a close combat out of Lycanroc. And having Aggron around seems like it would have been pretty helpful still for Coco and Blastoise. Yeah, I don't know. Keeping Zygon around for extreme speed, yes, probably useful. But yeah, I don't know. I thought the fighting move was coming in and Tommy would have just sacked his Aggron at that point. Is that the end of the world? Probably not, given he still has a really fat Miltank, and we'll see that, you know, really Miltank is the most important Mon left. But yeah, see, he doesn't have anything to hit Aggron with. But gets it down into range of Blastoise here. Crit Aura Sphere. But yeah, this is pretty much all she wrote. Tommy just needs to stall out electric terrain here. He's getting his little bit of chip, and basically Miltank doesn't get parried and wins with seismic toss. So yeah, no, GG guys. You know, I was probably a little harsh there, but I mean, really, you gotta pay attention to what everybody's items are, because in the post game like interview with you guys, you know, you guys were asking back and forth, oh, well, like, what was your item on this or whatever, and it's like, well, you had a Rocky helmet on Guzzlord because you attacked into it and you took recoil damage, but you were so locked in you didn't see it. Or yeah, I think it was one of the leftovers or something on Tommy's side that Joe didn't see. But yeah, no, it was just like yeah, you guys are locked in, but take a breath, read the little text on the right, you know, that stuff. Just read that during the game, take a breath, you know, all the information is there. Finding it can, you know, vary in difficulty, but all the info's there. You guys, yeah, no, you guys play fine though. It was a fun game to watch for sure. All right, Berg versus Cordell, and bang, there it is. Final game at Victini making an appearance. Berg getting the kill. Too easy. So I talked to Berg about this matchup. I was like, yeah, so like the team that you're bringing like kind of gets dumped on by Bronzong, so you need to chip this down so Scolipede can kill it with Megahorn eventually. And that's what he's doing. He's just staying in with Steelix and attacking. So at this point, Primarina, correct play. I love the team makeup on Cordell's team this week. I thought it was pretty unique. Now, I told Berg about Bloom Doom on Primarina for Finny. However, the game plan was you get Primarina in, Finny would be the switch in to you had he not brought Roselia, and then if Finny's in front of you at that point, then you can Bloom Doom after like a Calm Mind or something. However, he has Roselia, completely walls Primarina. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was ever going to get a better opportunity to Bloom Doom, but yeah, pretty unfortunate there. Scolipede totally walls Roselia. Misty Terrain's up, so it can't do any sort of shenanigans with, you know, any of that fun stuff. But yeah, so that Swords Dance, and wait for it, that Megahorn. I know this isn't super easy to see necessarily, but Berg won the game right here. All he has to do is hit Poison Jab 3 times and Earthquake once. Yeah, and game's over. Poison Jab does need to get the roll on Zapdos. I think it does like, I think it was like an 81% chance to kill or something. So unfortunately Berg switches out there. Yeah. No, Berg had the game, basically completely locked up, had he just attacked there, and would have gotten a 5-0 victory. So yeah, I know Berg's season hasn't gone exactly how it planned, but like he's putting himself in positions to win, and like I wouldn't say there's a single moment like that he's had this season where I felt like, oh, like yeah, he just had no chance. Like, no, he literally won the game with that Sword Stance on the Switch out of Roselia, and yeah, just unfortunately couldn't see that through. But yeah, no, it basically just plays out from here where Cordell's bulky enough with his Roselia and his Finny to not die to anything. Berg could have got a, we'll talk about it after this Scald here. Berg could get one more differential point here going into Scolipede and going for the P-Jab. But goes for the Earthquake predicted Manectric, and yep. So that was a fun game though. I mean, Berg literally had it in his grasp. It wasn't, you know, I wouldn't say it was the most obvious of things. But yeah, no, he had it right there. The main thing I think he didn't see was the speed boost on Scolipede. He was at +2 speed, so he was going to be faster than Zapdos. So yeah, just use all your information that you guys got. Cordell, I mean, you played the way you had to. I mean, you went into the one thing that could possibly live, maybe going Manetric first, getting an Intimidate off to like guarantee that you'd be able to do something with like, I don't know. Maybe neither of these could have done anything at that point, you know. But yeah, you played off of it and pulled out the dub, so good job. All right, me versus MJC. So yeah, I picked up Kirim. That's pretty much it. All right, so I know with my low pony set this week, I can live a quick attack from Pinsir. Now I need to be at like 92% or something, so I was worried with that fake out I was going to hit like a Rocky Helmet. Obviously super paranoid about like static on Zapdos and stuff like that too. But yeah, Rotom was basically my exclusive Zapdos answer, and I ran Nasty Plot on it this week because we will see after I get up to plus 4, Volt Switch to 60% to Muck. I debated going for the Overheat. Probably would have been totally fine going for that, honestly. But yeah, I just sack Pharisee here, and then I'm able to bring in Kirim because of I was able to scout the damage with the Volt Switch, and it did 60%, so I knew Freeze Dry with my spread would get the kill at that point. This is a Scarf Mr. Rhyme. It's a little tough to play around, honestly. And yeah, he called my switch out because of the Spadef drop, but I can just go back into Rotom. I'm not worried about getting parried by this thing. I can always just pivot out. I thought he was going to switch out there instead of just attacking into me, but yeah, he has no idea what sort of set I am on Kirim there, so I got a free sub up, and I can start seeing what I'm doing to Mr. Rhyme there. He's 68% with Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball was a last second addition because I kind of forgot about prepping for Azelf. Not the best idea, but you know, we live and we learn. I could have just stayed in with Kirim too against Mr. Rhyme, but yeah, wanted to road him here. And yeah, I decided it was time to let it cook. And we're about to talk about the play. Okay. So this is like the Buzzwole and the Zygarde. It's like a children's story, the Buzzwole and the Zygarde. Yeah. Pinsir, like, what are you doing against Rotom, right? I got Levitate. You know, you're not hitting me with flying type moves after your Mega Evolve, yada, yada, yada. Big red flag that he's going into this. However, looking at my team, I don't really need Rotom for anything else. I've seen the damage with Mr. Rhyme into Kirim. I'm chilling. Like, Tornadus even can switch into ice moves based off that damage. Slowbro, I want to use for Pinsir, but I don't want to go hard into it. In case he sets up, I die to X Scissor afterwards. And I've seen MJC play before where he just decides like, okay, the game's over, so he just starts throwing stuff away. So there was like an inkling of that in here, but really it was, I'm not going to let you get an SD up. Either you kill me with Earthquake here, or you got some other crazy plan. And he can kill me with Earthquake here because he has Mold Breaker. Let's see. Yeah, you just saw it right there. And if you hover over, it shows you the ability. So like abilities like Mold Breaker and Pressure and like Unnerve, those announce themselves. Same with like a Neutralizing Gas from Weezing. Those announce themselves on the field. So like if you just hover over, you see it has Mold Breaker, right? And he ran enough speed where he's faster than me and kills me with Earthquake. So yeah, really cool tech this week to answer my Rotom, because my Rotom was really good in his team, but like I said, I really just needed it for Zapdos, and now I get some momentum, getting my Kirim again. I get a free substitute. Oh, actually, I just attacked. Sub was definitely the play, but it's all good. But yeah, I can just use Torn to pivot around until it gets frozen. Yeah. And it's funny, MJC put all the French names of all the Pokemon except for Azelf, because Azelf is just Azelf in French. Okay, we're gonna speed through this a little bit because I'm just PP stalling Freeze Dry at this point. Pressure Sub Roost. Basically the idea was I would always be behind a substitute whenever he goes into Pinsir, and he wouldn't be able to, you know, do anything to me. Right here, I don't know if this was the correct play. If I was predicting him to go for the fighting move, I probably should have just gone Slowbro, because that forces him out or whatever at that point. I don't know if he's running Swords Dance, right? So going Torn could have been a throw had he had it, but he goes for the quick attack there, and I see his fourth move. So he doesn't have Swords Dance, so I can go into Slowbro here. Super free Future Sight. And then I can just teleport out on whatever he wants to do. And then, yeah, I think I had a roll to kill with Freeze Dry, because that did 57. What was... Yeah, it was at 52. I could have just killed it there, but decided to go for the substitute. And I got a free sub, basically, because I don't think he breaks it with his Ice Beam here. Yep. Yeah, Kyurem had a really good matchup this week. I mean, we saw Ty use it with Lopunny last season. The synergy is incredible. I think it's awesome with my like momentum core of Rotom, Tornadus, and Slowbro as well. I'm going to be able to get it in a lot. I can run like Specs or Metronome or something fun. But yeah, I'm just PB stalling at this point. Man, this game was so fun. If you guys saw it live, I mean, you saw the brain power in action. Okay, and after leftovers there, I know I'm comfortably able to live a close combat, barring any crits. But Lopunny's still at 100%, so he couldn't quick attack and kill me. So I was fine just to attack. Yeah, and then he just has to kind of choose a move there, and I don't know what I was calcing, but Fake Out did not do 32% in my calc. Yeah, I just went into it just to pivot around. Like, I would have gone... I just wanted to get a kill with Lopunny this game, so went into Fake Out, and I was just going to hard switch to Slowbro on the next Focus Blast, and then teleport, and then Fake Out again, but thankfully that killed. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I was sweating my butt off this game. I feel like every time I play MJC, like I gotta try hard so hard. But yeah, GG's. That game was really fun. Definitely one of the most fun games I've had in the 3 seasons so far. And all right, let's get into this last one real quick. We got Dodge versus E. Man, you know that Squidward meme where he's like, and it's like when I'm in a throwing competition and my opponent is Dodge. Dodge gets up early here, and we will see. Knocks off Muck, but it has Sticky Hold. Goes hard Dougie on the Gunk Shot, and it misses. And Muck's dead. And Paul's tilted. Paul makes a crazy play here. I mean, this is definitely like I'm a tilted sort of play. I mean, sure, Dugtrio probably doesn't want to stay in against Rotom, but like, just straight up Volt switching into the ground type, like, I mean, it was a good read, but like, could have been disastrous. All right, lands the first Fire Blast, really putting some pressure on Clefable here. Trading rocks for Toxic. And yeah, this is tough. I don't know if Dodge really has a better play than that. I think that was the right stuff, because you got to get back up for Shandy, but bang, missed Fire Blast. Not great. I don't know, watching this back, like, I feel like in real time that was more tilting than it actually was. Watching this back, like, that wasn't that important. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's been more significant hacks that has happened, and we will see that happen again this game. But like, I don't know. I feel like instead of going Shandy on specially defensive Clefable, you just go into Whimsicott and Subseed. And then, yeah, because like he's got Knockoff and Toxic. I don't remember the other move. I don't know if he has Moonblast or not. But yeah, I don't think Lando was the play. I like Whimsicott feels like it's pretty free here. But Earthquake is doing a ton, and it's actually gonna kill Clefable. So now Chandelure actually has a pretty good opportunity. And this is something that MJC and I were talking about. Landorus is at 14%. There's nothing. I mean, yes, Whimsicott is weak to ice, but like, just go for the Shadow Ball. It hits Shandy, it hits Gallade, it hits Whimsicott, hits Rotom for a good chunk, and definitely kills Landorus at 14%. Like, Hidden Power was just to like let E get back in the game essentially. Yeah, I know that's not the thought process, but that's what it does, right? You have a better middle ground attack to go for that gets the kill on the thing in front of you, plus it hits everything else way harder. That Fire Blast sucks. Para happened, but the toxic damage is racking up at this point. Yeah, that Fire Blast was not ideal. And Dodge right there is just kind of stalling out Toxic. He went for the Morning Sun, not realizing that he was faster. Zen Headbutt comes in, cleans it up. And right here, MJC and I basically had an aneurysm. Dodge is running Substitute, Memento, Earthquake, and probably like Sucker Punch or something. Maybe Rocks or Stone Edge, I'm not sure. But yeah, so going into Doug Trio here, I guess is the right play because it's faster, but like, your only play here is to Memento to allow your Gyarados to set up. It's your only play. And he just keeps substituting, and we're like, what is happening? Is he going to go for like reversal or something? No, just stalling out a couple Ice Punches. It's like the most unnecessary substitutes ever. All right, so we see Dodge go for the sub here. Goes for the DD. Goes for the waterfall. And gets the crit. God, this is so tilting. Oh my god. Now, okay, now E was tilted. He didn't actually see the correct path out of this. Instead of going Rotom this last turn, you go into Landorus, get the Intimidate off, switch into Rotom on the waterfall, go back into Landorus. Now he's weak. Now Gallade wins. Potentially. Gallade plus Rotom probably wins at that point, but yeah. Just a Gyarados sweep at the end. They're just disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. I don't want to talk about it. That was so nasty. Yeah, I mean, like, I get it. He got hacks pretty hard, but he didn't do himself any favors. And then Dodge got completely bailed out at the end there after throwing away Tangela to Chandelure and just getting the crit through the Whimsicott. Like, oh god, that was so nasty. I gotta go. Get me out of here. Peace, guys.